Triplefour.
Let's talk about it. Okay, Triplefour podcast.
Yeah, he said
This dude makes a meatwad fucking thing for no reason. Then he says Jim Norrison.
Bob Dylan I find personally obnoxious, but the Beatles destroyed culture.
Oh my god.
I got Elon Musk to smoke weed in my Tesla the other day. That's not even a big fucking deal.
Things are crazy right now. You don't know shit, do you? We really didn't.
You know, you can't always get what you want, but you'll find sometimes that if you try,
You just might get it.
Oh, you get it!
Welcome to the Triplefour podcast, episode 45. Sup forehead, sup triplets. I'm coming to you live from hell.
I'm in Pee-wee's Playhouse.
How'd you wind up in Pee-wee's Playhouse, Josh?
I was just about to tell this story. So last week how I was, in that room, very weird room. I can explain what it was. That phone call I had, and I was waiting there for 2 hours. It was Pee Wee Herman himself, Paul Reubens. He was just like, hey, I'm so sorry I made you wait 2 hours. I went to go grab dinner. I didn't invite you. I felt kind of shitty for it. So how about I make it up to you by putting you on the set of Pee Wee's Playhouse? I was like, okay, I've only watched 2 episodes of it, but fuck it. I mean, whatever. You got a talking chair.
What?
Back there.
2 episodes?
Yeah, I didn't watch very much of it. I was a sad child. Anyway, so I got to the set. Paul Reubens, when we got to the set, he's like, I'll be right back. I have some unfinished business to take care of. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but sure. Why not, Paul? Go for it. Whatever, buddy. And so he's going to be gone. He never told me when, but I assume it's going to be a very long time because he seemed like he was very slow in moving out and getting out of here. So I have time to kill, and I'm here now.
Did he mention going to a movie theater or? Nope.
Straightest face he could possibly say. It's like, I have unfinished business to take care of, and then just left.
I think that we owe Paul an apology, honestly, after all of the things that we've learned about different celebrities like Mr. Cosby and stuff. I think that Paul, he also wasn't in just a movie theater. He was in a live porno theater. What do you expect from the guy?
Yeah, I have no qualms, no issues with Paul Reubens. I mean, I didn't even know this was a thing until Josh informed me, not long ago.
Oh, really? I think as a society, we owe Paul an apology because it's not that bad. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I'm cool with him.
He's my guy.
He got me this. Got me the chair over there. He didn't talk because no one's on there, but you know what?
I mean, you look good.
Yeah. You know what? Thank you.
You look at home.
Yeah. This is my home now. I hope. Until Paul gets back and finishes business, whatever it is.
Whatever his business.
He's going to go murder everybody that canceled.
Beef.
I hope he's listening so he knows that we're all
we're on Team Paul. Team Pee Wee.
I love Pee Wee.
We got Lucas Dykes with us today on the podcast. Special guest.
The not very special guest.
Why'd it take you so long to oil your fucking skateboard wheels, dude?
No, I actually haven't skated, unfortunately, in a really long time. I've been injured. And I didn't even hurt myself. I think that I'm getting tendonitis in my peroneal tendon in my ankle. It's the only thing that makes sense. But basically it feels like I rolled my ankle even though I just skated really hard one day. And so I haven't really been skating. I've just been riding my bike actually.
How's the lockdown been? What have you been doing during quarantine and how has your life changed, been impacted?
Well, it's actually changed a lot for me personally. I'm still in work, and I don't know if all of you guys know, but I'm a maintenance man at a hotel, and it's an outdoor hotel property. So I basically take care of an apartment complex, essentially. And they fired a majority of the workers except for 5 people. So we are running an entire hotel with 5 people, and my responsibilities have like quadrupled. My shifts have completely changed. I now work, I still work 40 hours, but I work 11:30 to 8 every day, except for Sundays and Mondays. So I've had actually like no life. And then of course, you know, on my days off, I can't really go out and enjoy a bar or a restaurant just like everybody else. So I've been riding my bicycle a lot. I got a really cool bike. And so I've just been like putting my headphones in and cruising all the time. But other than that, I've just been working constantly. I've been a complete hermit, and it's been really bad. They fired a majority of our workers. And so my boss quit. All of the other maintenance men are gone. So I have 100% maintenance responsibilities on top of, you know, I do the laundry attendance and I strip rooms, and, you know, I do dirty stuff all day long from noon to 8, and it's horrible. It's really dampened my spirits.
You're like Mike Rowe, dude.
The hotels.
I'm sorry, Maddie?
Are there a lot of people staying at the hotels now, or?
So it's really interesting. Ours is doing decent advertising wise because since it's an extended stay hotel. So we have people that like live there for years at a time, months at a time, whenever their homes have water damage or mold or, you know, et cetera. And so Sonesta, which is the company I work for, they own a bunch of 5-star hotels, including like the Chase Park Plaza and all of these like all-inclusive, really expensive ones, but those all had to close. So a lot of their occupants have been moved to extended stay ones. And so we've been probably at like 30% occupancy. And so that's enough to where it's been really brutal for 5 people to run it because we have like 130 rooms. And so we still have about 40 rooms sold a night every night with just the 5 of us. And they told us that we cannot apply to have any help on the property until we get to 40% occupancy for 3 weeks. But we don't have people to clean the rooms. So we don't have, so it's been like this whole ass backwards battle. So it's in comparison to normal. No, it has not been very busy. Like we're normally at like a 90% occupancy hotel, but it's been enough for us working there to be like running like chickens without our heads. It's been pretty brutal. No bueno. I'm here to just be sad the whole time. I'm going to smoke 1,000 cigarettes. I'm going to see how many cigs I can smoke in an hour and 20 minutes, just like no gods, no managers.
Yeah, and fucking Kelly Chris mode, dude.
Yeah, I'm active. Damn, I was so pinched for time. I was going to grab gigs. I was going to get the Kelly Chris wig.
Do you still have that?
Yes, of course I still have it. What are you talking about?
It's a major piece of fucking cinema history. Of course I have it.
Dude, are you kidding me? My face was shown in different parts of the world.
Smoking 2 cigarettes at the same time.
The entire world. It feels good to be here with you folks. I just feel like I'm so brain scrambled. I'm not organized enough to talk for an hour and a half without sounding like an idiot by the end of it.
That's everybody right now. So.
Yeah, that's
verge of death.
Cool.
Well, that sounds a lot like things being crazy right now.
Is it just me, or is it getting crazier out there?
Because things are crazy right now.
We're about 2 months into quarantine. Maybe like a few days off from 2 months.
Yeah, the casino shut down on March 17th.
Okay. See, I know it was a lot different for everybody else. My brother, I worked with my brother. He was a maintenance man with me, and he didn't get let go until like the prime of it, like not until probably 4 weeks ago. So, and like I said, I've still been working, and so my concept of how long we've been in this is pretty blurred. Sorry, again, bad habit of cutting you off, Dan. I'll shut up forever now.
No,
yeah, please do not speak.
I say my last day was probably like the 20th of March, so that's probably that's when I started my time.
Yeah, we stopped like the 15th or 16th. That was when school stopped being a thing. So
okay.
Yeah, we had St. Patrick's Day and St. Pat's weekend in Rolla, and that was the last
canceled. Yeah,
I guess
well, see, I heard that was canceled
before it. Yeah, so they canceled all like the school hosted events, so like the parade and like the beer garden and whatnot. And a lot of fraternities canceled their Greek parties, but we didn't stop having socials, and people still have house parties, so it was still celebrated, but it was more just like the people in Rolla. A lot of people didn't end up coming in town for it.
It's a social distance St. Patrick's Day.
You know, I'm starting to recognize a pattern here. There's a lot of cancellations around Luke. I don't know if you recall, but a previous episode with Lucas Dykes was things are canceled right now.
Oh,
wow.
And Paul Reubens was canceled. So
Look.
This is foreshadowing for my career. I'm going to become successful and then become canceled, hopefully.
Free Paul Reubens.
He's a good guy. Look.
Just look at it.
Just look at this. Look at the fucking chair.
Oh my God.
2 months. 2 months in quarantine. This is what life's like. And I was thinking that St. Charles County is kind of like ground zero for reopening, because Missouri is like one of the first states to start statewide reopening procedures, and they called it phases or whatever, but they pretty much opened everything. I mean, they were just like, go ahead.
Pretty much.
Yeah. With the exception of St. Louis and Kansas City, I imagine. I don't really know what's going on there, but St. Louis County is kind of...
Everything is still closed out here, definitely, in St. Louis.
Yeah, so St. Charles County, being the third largest county in the state, is kind of like the first testing ground for potential reopens.
It's because
that's kind of crazy.
I think that it's because they're okay with everybody in St. Charles dying. So they were just they were like, let's just start here for the rest of the country.
Plandemic 2.
These guys.
Plandemic. That's smart. I applaud you for that one.
They need to open up this pit, dude.
Microwave? Is that a menu? This pit? It could be a pit.
It's a part of the microwave. The subset of the microwave.
At the microwave.
Ooh. The pit is the smoothie bar at the microwave.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Pizza flavored smoothie at the pit.
And you know, another crazy thing, things are still crazy right now because Ready Room was just closed pretty much permanently, right?
Yeah, I think it's what I read.
Wait, the Ready Room?
Wow. I did not hear about this. No.
Yeah,
it was just recent.
Ready Room's done. It's no longer ready.
That room is...
It's the not ready one.
Fuck,
we're not ready.
That was...
Get out. You cannot come in yet.
I know what we said before, but we're not actually ready.
I could not have paid a group of writers to come up with a smarter bit than that just now. So the Ready Room is not ready.
So St. Louis humor, you know, local, regional bits. Hey, Ready Room needs to let us in. They should let us come in there and hang out.
Get the place ready.
We need to put Ready Room on the list with all the other suspects in hated Triplefour people for not letting us in.
Well, we should make an effort first, maybe. Also,
how strong is that?
I thought it was a cool venue.
I'm upset.
Robert Eggers is like a hardcore, like, if I see him, I will confront him.
Well, I definitely tried to text Bob Lazar and I got no response. So he's definitely acting shady for not showing us the aliens.
Yeah, that was fucked up. From Bob. Math, not feeling it. Amy Schumer, she was the last edition.
Amy Schumer. You know what? My brother turned me on to that whole thing with Amy Schumer. And luckily there are people that have a lot more time than I do. And they make the compilations of like the Mad TV skit immediately before. And it's cringeworthy, man. She didn't even do the good skits. It wasn't even the good bits.
That's why she's on the list. It's for stealing bits and not even good ones.
Yeah. Anyway, things are crazy right now. Back to the podcast. Things are crazy right now. Grimes has a child now with elongated musk. And the hilarious bit, the name of the child, which I'm going to refresh myself on here.
It's like X Ash something 12.
Literally the name.
X Ash A12 Musk.
Yeah, it's a plane.
Yeah, I looked into a little bit of like the reasoning behind it, and like I don't remember what the X was for. Something about it's a variable. And then the Ash,
unknown.
Yeah, some art just sounded cool, and then the last bit is for a plane they like. So
yeah, one of Elon's planes.
Yeah,
It is an art project out of the womb.
It's either got to go by X or Ash. I mean,
fucking
X. XXX Tenacious.
I mean, X is not like a totally obscure name. I think there are people who go by X.
Okay, here's the Grimes tweet. X, the unknown variable. Ash, my elven spelling of I, as an A, capital A, little I, and then or AI, I guess. And then it says love and or artificial intelligence, of course. And then A12, the precursor to SR-17,
or
our
A24.
favorite aircraft. She said, our favorite aircraft, no weapons, no defenses, just speed. Great in battle, but non-violent.
Heart. There's a heart. I've seen the tweet.
Yeah, there's a heart. Yeah. And then also it says A equals Archangel, my favorite song, which I don't know. I think she has a song called Archangel. So her favorite song is her own. And then there's a sword emoji and then a rat emoji. And it says metal rat.
I love naming my child.
What is his middle name, do you think?
Sorry. Do you think that's like
Ash
a footnote on the tweet, or is like metal rat, like, is there emojis on the birth certificate? Like, did Elon take the time to draw them?
I think emojis on a birth certificate would be pretty fire.
I think that we should, maybe like, because there's always jokes about how with generations names change so frequently and so drastically. I think this is going to start like a whole wave of people just naming their children some fucked shit, basically.
Well, there was another article. Go ahead, Maddie.
I feel like it had to be inspired a little bit by, I don't remember what movie this was, but I remember there was a movie and the chick's name was like Sam or something, and there was a 5 in there. She's like, silent. I don't know if you know what but it existed. I watched it at some point and it was a whole bit, and that's what I thought of when I saw that name. I was like, oh, it's like that movie came out forever ago.
Sam 5, the classic film.
Enemy of the Triplefour.
I can't wait to name my kid Slaughterhouse 5. I can't wait.
TM with the trademark symbol and everything.
Copyright.
I'm gonna name my child the noise a printer makes.
The noise
Like
a
that.
fax makes.
Yeah. Ooh, or AOL.
Fax noise
Yeah.
Dykes.
Yeah.
Dial
Wait, no, that's a Key and Peele bit. They already did that with the jackhammer noise.
Oh, this is true.
Fuck,
Yeah.
I'm not even funny, dude. Oh, dude, maybe they just got inspired not by that movie, Maddie, but by the Key and Peele bit.
Torque. Lewis, Nevada State Penitentiary.
Local child named for Key and Peele bit.
Oof.
Well, so there was another article, and it said that in some California judge or something is trying to block them from actually naming their child this.
It was Band Slam. Sorry to interrupt you, but it's Band Slam.
Oh, Band Slam. Who can forget the classic cinema?
Also, this kind of, I'll be honest too, this kind of reminds me of that competition in like Skyrim where you named your kid Dovahkiin. Literally fucked up your child's name for a game.
Oh, what was the story there?
I don't know. I just remember that I remember bits and pieces of it. I just remember that if you named your child Dovahkiin, you got like something in return. Like it was a prize, a grand prize for doing that. I'm like, so fucking up your child's name to win like a trip to like Bethesda's studios or some shit.
But here's my theory, right? And I told Luke this, and he doesn't agree with me. I think it's fake news. I think they did not actually put that on a birth certificate. It's just a publicity stunt that Grimes is pulling because she does weird shit like this all the time where she makes a big show of something. And it's very Kanye too. You know, Kanye just saying something provocative and crazy just to get the eyes on him. I think Grimes is doing the same thing. And Elon's just rocking with it.
Because I feel like, especially Elon is always doing some weird shit on Twitter that doesn't really make any sense. And so I'm half expecting them to come out and be like, it was a good joke. So anyway, this is our actual child's name.
I wouldn't doubt if that happened, I wouldn't be too surprised, but I just don't think that they need that coverage. I don't think that Elon is the type of person who struggles with being taken seriously as an engineer, like up until recently, I guess. But I mean, he's like meme platform God. And so like he struggles with being taken seriously in his career path. I don't think that he needs the fake publicity like this, like someone like Kanye or like a Lady Gaga.
He's a new type of tech CEO magnate. He understands that the currency is being meme lord. He understands that being meme lord means people are gonna like look at Tesla and be interested in Tesla. It's Martin Shkreli was kind of like this too, where Shkreli was like, his whole thing was, I'm going to turn people's opinions. Like he played the villain and he loved playing the heel. And then he started going, when you start to listen to Shkreli, he starts to say a lot of things that you're kind of like, oh, he wants to like have this turn of opinion. Like he wants people to come to him, see that he's not the supervillain that he pretends to be usually, and then like develop like this weird defense mechanism that makes them like him more. And I think like Elon has a similar kind of thing, although he's definitely losing fans. I think more recently he's been tweeting shit like Corona's fake or we're all going to be out of here in a month or whatever it was.
We're going to go live on Mars in my new car that can drive us there.
You can smoke weed in it.
Smoke a spliff. There's an ashtray that says put weed here, please.
And it comes with a copy of
Biodome. It comes with a copy of Biodome.
That actually brings me to something good that I saw this week. Not to derail, but rather,
you see Biodome?
Drug cartels in Mexico are launching weed over the border. They started with a potato cannon and then moved up to like a mail gun or a t-shirt cannon. And the DA confiscated a weed bazooka that they were using to launch pounds of weed over the border.
The weed bazooka. I probably shouldn't
That's
talk
the band.
about
So check out weed bazooka at the microwave.
Too bad the ready room's not open so that weed bazooka can fucking play.
Look, I want to wait until they have a weed catapult and just straight fucking huck bricks.
No, I'm honestly surprised. So like in drug cartels for like cocaine and stuff, they've been building submarines to go undetected like from country to country through the ocean. And like if there are people that are literally building submarines that can go a mile underwater and be fine, and they're just now like dude, I can use this slingshot to sling this dime bag over a fence. A 20-foot fence.
They did say that people have used catapults before.
Oh, hell yeah. All right.
But
Yeah,
the technology is advancing. Okay. The 21st century.
Are we not weed droning yet? Is there not?
Somebody has to. Somebody has to.
I feel like a drone's too noisy though. You know,
Well,
a
I feel
catapult,
like-
you just have that one little.
Yeah,
Good.
I feel like if you're going over the border, if you had a drone, they could easily detect that. But,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
Kush
you're just
drone.
a local weed dealer, you may as well use the drone.
Look, I'm not trying to sound ignorant, but we're just going to go on ahead and name this guy Guadalupe. So Guadalupe comes sprinting up to a 20-foot fence with a slingshot. He slingshots.
He's like
For
right in
better-
the face of two
for
fucking
better-
wall guards.
For better or worse purposes, he slingshots a pound over the border with his homemade slingshot. How does he get the fucking money?
They slingshot it back.
Yeah,
They're
they
like-
yeah. They put it in
There's
another
a
bag.
guy-
They slingshot it.
There's a guy there with another slingshot. Oh.
Yeah. Duh. Lot
They
of
text on
rip-offs,
WhatsApp
though.
and they said meet up spot here, and then they said, "All right, bring your slingshot."
You should have seen this
Weed
fucking
bazooka.
bazooka, dude. This thing, dude, the bazooka's like bigger than a person.
Is there a picture
Like a
of it
standard
somewhere?
male.
I'm trying to
Um,
get shipped in the weed bazooka.
I'll edit
But I
it
laughed my
into the
candle
cast. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I think they're just so crazy. you know what'll help you cheer up from all the crazy things? You got to watch some films, John. And that's why it's time for films.
Parasite, Midsommar, Jean-Luc Godard, Robert Eggers sucks. This is the time for films theme song. It's over.
I feel like I've never seen a movie in my life, actually. Not one.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
welcome to my
but you've
life.
been in a couple.
No, you watched one movie. You just told me. I think most of us have seen it too.
Never heard of it. No, yeah. Just last night I watched Requiem for a Dream. There are so many movies that are classics that I haven't seen that I feel like I need to watch. And it was really good. I do not. Do you know who directed that? Because I don't.
Darren Aronofsky. He did Black Swan, The Wrestler, The Fountain, Mother with Jennifer Lawrence. Most recently.
I actually don't think I know any of those other films. It was really good. There were a lot of
No spoilers, please. I have not seen it.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Okay, I won't.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I definitely won't spoil it. I recommend it. I think that the way that the movie is definitely set up towards the end, how it rapidly switches through shots so quickly, like between characters, whenever they're all doing something really intense at the same moment. It kind of gives you the idea that all of these different people are going through such different experiences because of the same thing. And I personally related super hard with the mother character. And it was interesting because I watched it with a group of people and they all said that about different characters of the film. And I just think that it was good. It was just bizarre. There are some parts that they could have really done a lot more detail and done a lot more for the story, I guess. I know that's a really vague thing to say, but I guess they could have added a lot more in some parts.
I find it bizarre that you watched it with a group of people. I know, like you said, you've never seen a movie because I know you don't really watch movies on your own. But
Yeah,
that movie is a huge bummer. Like it
It's
is
fucked.
like a torturously like dark, morbid movie about drug abuse, and it's like that was what attracted me to it, and I think it attracts a lot of people. Is it is one of those things that you don't forget. Most people watch that movie one time and then they never go back because
Want
they
to
know
watch it
it's
again.
Yeah,
definitely. Well, this is a little. I'm not trying to get too far off or into deep personal things, but me and my personal friend that I was watching it with both kind of confided in each other, and having fatherly issues, and his father actually did meth throughout his entire life. And so that I could really tell after watching the movie that his attitude just for the whole night was definitely different. It definitely has an impact on you if drug abuse is something in your life. But that's kind of what I mean by they could have went into greater detail with some things. I don't want to spoil it, but I feel like the two main characters that were doing most of the selling would have, I don't want to use the term relapse because they always had used drugs throughout the movie, but I feel like them using would be way more prominent in the story. I feel like there would be a lot more issues with them potentially selling drugs in the first place. They don't even sell drugs in the movie. There's a 2-minute montage of it and that's fucking it. And then the rest of it's just about selling drugs. There's so much that they could have used for plot development there. But I guess they just wanted to kind of just get this story across. But then again, the way that it was filmed, visually, I noticed that there were a lot of shots that were not rule of thirds. They were just super symmetrical. And there's a lot of the fast pace changing between characters. It definitely
the editing is really unique.
Yeah, it holds your attention really hard throughout the movie. I definitely recommend it. Again, it's one of those ones that is kind of labeled as a classic. Do you know when that came out or when it took place? Because I know that it was around 2000, New Millennium when it came out.
Yeah, it was 99 or 2000.
I have a question. Is the editing kind of like Edgar Wright kind of directing way? That kind of
sometimes
cuts.
Yeah. The way that movie is edited, I remember reading a statistic that was a normal movie has so many hundred cuts and this movie has 2,000 and something. There's a lot of these moments where it just goes boom, 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 and hits you 4 or 5 shots. Specifically one of the more famous ones is when they're shooting heroin and it's shot of the needle going in, shot of the fucking shit bubbling in the spoon, and then the shot of that pupil going real wide.
Okay, I've kind of seen a little bit of that.
Yeah. Maddie, you've seen Requiem for a Dream, right?
Yeah, I watched it 6 months ago. But I didn't know that it was the same director that did Mother, and that makes a lot of sense because they both kind of have that very I'm stressed and things are chaotic right now kind of vibe. And I was wildly hungover when I watched it, actually, which didn't really help. But I was like, "This is it."
Well, Requiem for a Dream, you're definitely right about that. It keeps you very tense with all of the jump cuts.
Yeah,
and it's never
Mother, where the whole time I watched Mother, I was kind of on edge.
Have you seen Black Swan, Maddie?
Mm-hmm.
I love Black Swan. That's a great movie.
Yeah. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I liked it when it came out.
Yeah. I have to check that out again.
Something with...
Can't say good vibes on Requiem for a Dream. Good bits.
Pretty
bad vibes.
Definitely not a good vibe movie. If you're trying to vibe out with a significant other, if you're trying to Netflix and chill, you do not put on Requiem for a Dream. Unless you're hanging out with some seriously cool goth chick, then maybe.
Even still, it would be yeesh.
Hard sell.
The soundtrack, is one of the...
Jared Leto, correct? Young Jared Leto?
Yeah, it's young Joker. Young Joker.
Yeah, fucking worst one. I'll be that
Young
guy.
Junker.
Young Junker. I'm the Junker.
That's him, dude.
He's here. He's here.
The soundtrack to that movie, though, is fucking amazing. I used to listen to that soundtrack over and over again, like when I was like early high school.
You say that, but there's one song that's reused probably like 9 times throughout it that I heard probably like 100 times in like Bionicles compilations on YouTube when I was in like 2006. And they do not stop with that song. And I've heard it in so many other things prior that like whenever I just watched this movie and every time that song would come on, I was just like, fuck. Like I do not recall a single other song from that movie other than the
if you
song.
put on it's a recurring overture kind of thing. The song is called Lux Aeterna, and it was used in like a shitload of stuff. It was in trailers. It was in a ton of trailers.
That's the name of Elon Musk's second child.
Yeah. Requiem for a Dream theme song.mp3 is the name of his second child.
No, Lux. What was the name of the song?
Lux Aeterna.
Yeah, that's the name of Elon Musk's second child.
Anyway, you want to give it a star rating? No.
Me?
Star rating out of 5, yeah.
Out of 5. Shit, can we cut stars in half?
Yeah.
Are we do full stars only? A pretty ignorant film goer myself, I would give it 3 7/8 stars.
Okay, well, halves.
Dan, put the decimal in there. You have to put the decimal in there.
It was really good, but I just like the whole idea that we were talking about where it keeps you so on edge. Like all of those jump cut scenes, it's never it builds suspense, but it's never like action. It's always the same thing. The jump cuts, it's always drug related. It's always like it just adds to the chaos. It definitely like connects to you, but it really just depends on how personal that story is in your life. To me, I would give it a 4 out of 5, but I mean, there's so many fucking movies, dude. It's a fucking 3.5. What do you want? 3.5 out of 5. Sorry, Jared Leto.
So you were just saying there's so many movies. That reminded me. So I gave my dad access to my movie collection, my digital movie collection. It's just on my TV. It's open, so you can use it or whatever. And there's a fucking enormous amount of movies. There's like there's thousands of movies on here.
More than 4.
There's a couple. They're all ripped from Blu-rays that I own.
There's a few.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's a shitload of movies on there. Classics, Hitchcock, Wells, even newer stuff, baseball movies, whatever he wants to watch, literally anything. Since I've given this to him, he has watched the movie Yesterday, the Beatles Don't Exist movie, like 3 times. Like not exploring old favorites, not going to watch like classic film. He's just seen the fucking Beatles Don't Exist movie 3 times.
Okay, but what if the Beatles didn't exist?
That's kind of like my dad with Flight, who has probably seen that movie like a good 100 times at the very least.
Not even like it's on TV, because that used to be a thing in our house too. It's like if Independence Day was on TV, it would just be on. Or but no, he's like choosing. He would choose to watch this fucking Beatles movie like more than once.
What if the Beatles don't exist though, Dan? Have you thought about that?
I don't know.
What about? I'm just saying, what if that was the scenario?
Now there's 2 people have said that, so there might be something going on here.
There's something here. There's something to this.
Did you ever think about Yesterday?
Movies, though.
That was an all-around okay movie.
So there's a sequel called Tomorrow, or what?
Yeah.
No, it's today.
All right, let's move on. Nick, what films?
I have 2 that I watched, other than the one that I wanted to talk to Josh about, and a trailer. Peanut Butter Falcon. I'll make this real quick. Fucking Mick Foley, Yellow Wolf, just looking like a real greasy Cajun criminal. That's what he looks like in real life.
Whoa! What are you, racist?
Yellow Wolf is a white man. And
He's
then also, overall, great. Dan, I agree with you entirely on what you said about, yes, it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. But, feel good. It felt good. And then also
kind of the definition of good bits, good vibes, good all around.
Pretty much. And then subscribed me to the theory of John Bernthal only having 5 minutes of screen time in any movie, like you said.
It's true.
So that proved that. And then going back to last week, I watched American Movie. I really want to see the More of the Scarier 3 because it's literally just about drinking vodka and committing murder, which fucking mint. That's a movie I would watch. And then the whole thing with him being in his car with Mark when he's in the car and he tells his uncle, like his uncle's funding all these projects. And he says, you just have to have faith. And he goes, faith on nothing. That's hell yeah. And then my only other note for those two movies is in American Movie, Mike, the real bad case for my psychedelics argument. That dude is just like completely checked out. I don't know what he did, but it wasn't the drugs that I have been doing.
He's like the guy in SLC Punk who's like he did something like I forget what it was
it's like
in SLC Punk, but
he took too much acid and now he thinks he's a glass of orange juice.
Yeah, or in Good Time. It happens in Good Time also.
SLC Punk is a fucking amazing movie. I've seen that movie, and that was.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
And then that was the other one.
I call people Heroin Bob. That's a great reference bit. When you call
the other one that I had
if
was
they don't
a
get it, they love it.
That I saw this week.
For it.
There's a new movie coming out that I saw. Me and Dan have discussed in the past. Kevin James. I don't know if you ever watched that stand-up special that I recommended.
Paul Blart.
Did you recommend a Paul Blart stand-up?
Great joke. This is the classic Kevin James. He's a fucking washed. Oh, Paul Blart. Oh,
he's not even Paul Blart, dude. He's fucking King of Queens shorts looking ass.
Jesus fucking Christ. You fucking...
Blart.
Ozzy
Are
vibes.
you related to Kevin James? I feel like you are really on his side right now.
Because I
Go
am.
on, Nick.
Kevin James is a hilarious comedian. Most people do not know or have seen his stand-up in the past, but he had a special on Comedy Central Presents called Sweat the Small Stuff. For my money, it is one of my all-time favorite stand-up sets. As far as clean comedy goes, it is damn near perfect. It still stands to this day. There's like 2 or 3 bits in there that are a little dated just because of the advancement of technology, but it is one of the most relatable stand-up sets. Just the little, like the fucking, he has a bit about dropping the chain when you have exact change and you drop it between your seat and the car and you have to do this number for fucking 5 minutes.
I definitely have seen that stand-up special.
And he was, any stand-up will tell you this, that dude used to crush rooms. Like he was a killer fucking stand-up. And a lot of people don't know that. That being said,
that's definitely
he did make a bunch of shitty movies too. But I saw a trailer this week for a new movie that's coming out. It's a thriller, and he plays this creepy, fucked up pedophile white supremacist in like a serious role, and it looks fucking dope. I just really like seeing comedians go so far out of their, like going into a dramatic role or out of their wheelhouse.
Out of their Blart zone.
Out of their Blart zone.
There you go.
I really do. I actually really do like that, believe it or not. That is cool. I was actually just talking about Kevin James to my friend Brandon not that long ago because I was thinking about King of Queens. But I have seen stand-up that you were referencing. It's pretty damn funny.
It's spot on. Sweat the Small Stuff. It's on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it.
It is pretty good, clean comedy. But yeah, I mean, it's there are so many comedians that they get and like so many actors, I should say, that get their entryway from comedy, and then they end up stemming out. And I mean, a perfect example of that is Jimmy, who was a comedian prior to his acting career who now is like so praised.
I've been talking,
but like there are so many actors that are like that. And Kevin James, I mean, you're definitely right. That's like a kind of a, I don't want to say obscure, but I feel like that's kind of an obscure name to hear in like a really serious part like that. So that is actually really
I just like seeing people get out of their comfort zone. And also I talked about this past week with a friend of mine about how, I mean, that's ultimately the goal. When you see that, when you get into the entertainment business, like you want to make a movie, you want to be in a movie, you want to act in a movie, that's going to get you the most money. And that's kind of like the end game for a lot of people, because you see people like comedians or musicians, even people coming out like Childish Gambino or Donald Glover, having their own TV shows, becoming good at like very, very successful TV shows. And then even other rappers, you know, you've seen in the past Ludacris or Christopher Bridges. Great actor. He's a great actor. So is Mos Def.
Paul Blart.
And many more.
And then Josh
anyway.
the whole argument. Maddie.
Who, me? Okay.
Yep.
I've seen a couple movies here and there. I watched Full Metal Jacket. Liked it.
Great bits.
Wow.
Vibes. Didn't cry, but appreciated instead. I watched Django Unchained. That was like
fantastic movie.
Okay, actually great bits. Actually great bits.
Fucking love that movie.
I was watching it, and I'm pretty sure I watched it like when it came out, and I have almost no memory of it whatsoever, because the whole movie I was like, wow, this is really great, cool, new things happening. And then it gets to that scene where Leo comes in, and I was like, no, you know, I definitely remember watching this with my mom. So anyway, also good bits. Didn't cry. Also just appreciated it. I watched a movie called Coherence last night. I don't know if you've heard of this. You know, it was a good idea. It was a fun idea. But it might be like one of the worst films it was filmed so terribly, and it was really hard to like get into it, because it was like every maybe 5 seconds it was cut. And then everyone was orange the whole movie. So that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I tried to say that coherent was incoherent.
Yeah, it was pretty incoherent. Pretty
That's a 0 out of 10 movie for me. Yeah, so the movie title lied to me.
Yeah, it's kind of like the writing.
Blart.
I also watched Manchester by the Sea, which just shattered my world. I don't know what the fuck happened to the person who wrote that movie, but I trust that it was terrible for them to come up with such a horrible thing. It was filmed really well. It was obviously a really good movie, but Jesus fucking Christ. It hurt my feelings. Many tears, lots of crying, lots of bad bits. And, it did make me want to visit the East Coast, so I'll give it that. I can't say I've ever particularly wanted to do that, but they made it look cool.
That's one I have. It's been a kind of glaring omission for me. I haven't seen it yet, but it was a big deal when it was out.
Yeah, you should definitely watch it. And then, let me know what the fuck happened to the writer. Just let me know what the fuck happened to him to inspire him to write something so horrible.
Well, I know it's supposed to be really, really depressing, so.
Yes, I couldn't even have thought of that scenario. I didn't appreciate it. I don't know. I've seen all sorts of things. Saw Bad Education. That was cool. Good fun. Saw Moonlight. Really liked that one. I saw Hot Summer Nights. Thought I would like it more. It was okay.
Did you write these down?
Trash.
Yeah. I've got a little bullet journal. I keep track of all the movies I watch in a year. So.
Luke, I think you're the only one that showed up with no notes.
No.
and late.
That's also why I'm fucking blowing it as a guest right now. I feel like I've contributed nothing to this podcast.
Yeah, those are about the most notable movies that I watched. I watched The Gate. That was bad.
That was bad.
Yeah, I think if I had to objectively view it, like for the time, I think it was probably like a mediocre movie, and now it's just hard to watch. But it was slow going, but it was
Great review.
yeah.
Glowing.
I know I'm really good at reviews. Good bits. I cried. So
Great bits. Good vibes. Bad all around. Great.
So
All right.
I guess I watched Joshy, which Nick recommended me watch. So I kind of want to get Nick's take on it first, since he was the one that kind of wanted to like start all this.
Okay, well, first of all, I can't take credit because Dan recommended it to me. So
Yeah, I remember. I mean, Dan they also recommended me too. So
No,
yeah, but like, who listens to any of Dan's recommendations anyway?
Fucking dumb idiot.
Who's Dan?
obviously,
Who's Dan?
Great bits. Laughed. I cried.
within the
Comedy
first,
podcast, the comedy show with comedy bits. We do lots of bits here.
the camera cut, and so you were back here for a second, and then you just kind of showed up like this. I didn't know what to fucking do.
Good.
Okay, but
Joshy.
actually, legitimately laughed, cried. Joshy, extremely awkward and uncomfortable, almost to a degree of professionalism. How uncomfortable that fucking movie is. I particularly like Brett Gelman's character. He's like the party guy that they pick up from the bar, and he knows nothing about the dynamic between the group or the elephant in the room, which, by the way, they never address. They never say the word in the movie other than like, when the parents show up. They never address the underlying issue,
Which is great writing.
Yeah, no, really, I thought that was a very interesting way to do that. Also, I think the only time I've ever seen Nick Kroll act seriously, and it's in one scene. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Nick Kroll, but this is the only time I've ever actually seen him in a scene where he was serious, and it's that one shot where Joshy is crying, and he kind of shuts up and stops being fucking Mr. Quips guy.
Kroll show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I did have one of my favorite lines in the whole movie is when the dude is lurking around outside and Nick Kroll is just like, "Hey, are you a guy?" And that's it. The guy just runs away.
I remember
you a guy?
Nick shot him with a BB gun a couple times, and that's what made him run away. Yeah, but for me, I really enjoyed it. I am. Yeah, it is kind of funny because when I look back on it, they never really said the word, and so it's kind of interesting to me. There's a couple things in there that I kind of like didn't care for much, like when Joshy had Kim, when she met up. I think it was their name, Kim. When the group started to show up, and they just showed up to the house, and they met up with Joshy on the hill or on the trail, and he had that woman with her or with him.
Is that Jenny? When they first get to the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
They kind of didn't do anything with that. They kind of just like brushed that off as if she never existed.
Well, I think the whole point of that was to be that like he doesn't want to be alone. That's the whole point of the. Like he just had this random woman with him because that's a person to have around.
Yeah, I guess, but and just in writing scheme, it seems like they just kind of brushed that aside. They kind of brushed that off, and then Aubrey Plaza's character also was kind of like she was there, and there she is. She was at the bar with them, and she went home. Adam took her home, and she got mad. That was it. That was all Aubrey Plaza's character. Like, there's a couple things like that.
That's exactly. I hate to jump all the way backwards in the conversation, but that's a perfect example of what I meant for like Requiem for a Dream. Like there were a couple characters that were kind of like that were just like there, and you're like, that could have been so much more important with the plot development, but they just kind of didn't do that,
Joshy definitely is like offbeat kind of. It's mostly improvised too, from what I understand. They shot for 15 days, and all it was a 20-page outline, and the rest was improvised.
Okay.
Sounds like your movies.
Kind of. I would be damn proud to have made this movie. Heavyweight cast. Like Tommy Middleditch, Adam Pally, Alex Ross Perry, who's one of my favorite directors, Nick Kroll, Brett Gelman, Jenny Slate, Aubrey Plaza, Joe Swanberg is in there. Allison Brie, Jake Johnson, Paul Reiser is in there. It's pretty nuts.
Aubrey Plaza.
Okay, but to be fair, Allison Brie is hardly in the movie, but
well, yeah, that happens sometimes, you know.
Yeah,
I was reading the cast list.
I do like. I think one of my favorite moments in the entire movie was Middleditch's monologue that he had.
Oh yeah,
and
is that the one where Nick Kroll is crying?
No, it's one after the parents left.
Okay, yeah.
That part I really liked and enjoyed. Yeah, it was. I think it was a great movie, and it kind of showed like the ripple effects of an event like that, and not only that, but also the situations around everyone else. So it's kind of like a meeting together, you know, and maintaining friendships, even with all these issues affecting them separately.
Yeah, the friendship it feels very real. All the relationships feel very real.
Yeah,
that's what's super cool.
Yo, this conversation sucks. Where's the weed bazooka?
Very authentic weed bazooka. Firing my rating for Joshy at you 4.3 stars.
Shit, I forgot about the ratings. The ratings.
No rookie scores. No rookie scores here.
Yeah, we're not going back.
All right, I'll go 4.5. I'll go 4.5. 4.5.
4.5. High. That's high.
4.5. That's what I rated Joshy too back in the day when I watched it about 2 years ago.
I was going to give it probably a flat 4. I'll do rookie score.
He fucking hated it. Confirmed.
Look, as my name, I expected more.
After we went through the whole existential crisis of last week where we realized there were no famous Joshes.
Oh, yeah.
Josh Peck. That's all you get.
I got, Josh Gad also found out afterward, too, so.
Josh Brolin. One final film to talk about, unless anybody else has objections. A crucial piece of cinema called Alien Blood that me and Josh watched. We were having a little, bad movie screening situation, and we clicked on it for the poster, and I believe my words were, let's just see what this looks like. And Joe was with us. He wasn't even going to watch a movie. He wasn't going to watch a movie. Ended up staying the whole time to watch Alien Blood. Huge fucking waste of his lifespan. Alien Blood was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. The poster goes hard. The poster goes hard as hell, and I highly recommend everybody, just look that up for yourself.
Look at the poster.
That's the poster. That's it. That is it. That's all you need to do. I even remember saying after this movie, though, that since it was a Trauma pick, I'm like, this is a fucking disgrace to the Trauma name.
So yeah, it has a Trauma label on it, but it's not Lloyd Kaufman or anything. It's just, I think Trauma just bought it. They do that sometimes. There was the effects. All the effects are fucking horrible. And at some point in the movie, I looked up the director, and he was listed on IMDb under Alien and Total Recall and some other real movies as a visual effects guy, but they all said uncredited. So I was thinking well, we really have no proof that you worked on anything legitimate. This movie starts with the Matrix fucking thing where this woman who I guess is an alien is dressed like Tommy Wiseau. She's got the fucking Oakley sunglasses and a big trench coat. She comes down and she starts beating people up. And then it's the credit sequence starts, and it is the most obnoxious credit sequence I've ever seen in my life. It was every single person who worked on the movie had their own title card, and it lasted for 5 seconds. So it was like prop department, John Smith. And there was like a bunch of them where the same guy did multiple jobs. So it'd be like sound operator, Tony Hunt. And then it came up again, and it was like food services, Tony Hunt. And it was like, it was unreal. We were watching that like, what is going on? I was losing my mind.
It sucked us in because the woman who looked like fucking and like she was in the Matrix killed a butler for some reason and then picked her kid up and left. And we're like, all right, let's get into this. And then the fucking opening credits started, and you know you're in for a ride when they last about half the movie.
35-minute credit sequence.
Like straight up like 5 or 6 minute credit sequence. And then after that, it was 20 minutes without dialogue. Like there was this alien woman walking around. It's all filmed in like half frame rate. It's like 15 frames a second frame rate. Like just going like,
yeah,
like what David Lynch. It's like Inland Empire or some shit. And yeah, there's just this woman walking around. She meets another woman with sunglasses, and they kind of hang out for a while. Don't speak. And then she like takes her horse and runs away. Eventually, there's like government military dudes that show up. And there's a guy playing the head of the military group who is also he's 2 characters, and it's not explained. There's no reason for it. He's just a guy playing 2 different characters. They stumble upon a house that is occupied by, this is like something I would do. Like it's me playing multiple characters, and we just don't address it, like, because we just didn't have any other actors. Sorry. They stumble upon a house, and there's vampires living there. So the alien woman, when she gets to the house, there's a sex scene, but it's the only sex scene I've ever seen where the man is completely nude and the woman is still clothed. Yeah. Like it was so fucking bizarre. And he hung dong.
Yeah, he did. I forgot about that.
He hung dong, and there was a part where he was like rolling around and dangerously close to seeing butthole. Like dangerously close. And that was the same guy who played the military officer. It was nuts.
Okay, it's different because he's naked though.
No, the difference was he had a goatee. He was a goatee when he had a goatee when he was a vampire, and he didn't have a goatee when he
that was it.
Oh my god. It was there was the part, and we straight laughed for like 5 minutes. There was a part where it was like completely silent, and there was a woman just looking out over a balcony or something, and then all of a sudden you could hear a cough in the background. Just in the middle of a silent scene. And we died. Man. Oh my god. So yeah, Alien Blood. Josh, any other thoughts on the classic Alien Blood?
It's a don't miss it movie, folks. Put that in your fucking VHS player if you still got one, and fucking watch that for 4 hours straight and see how you feel.
Bump that in your system.
The problem was it was generally kind of unbearable to watch at times.
The entire time there was no dialogue was unbearable.
Yeah.
It was like some fucking student art film from a community college.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I was like, that's how I felt.
So I'm gonna go fair 1.5.
I'm getting a fair. I'm doing a straight 0.5. That's only because
I think that's
cough.
I think that might be worse than Corona Zombies. What was his rating on Corona Zombies?
Oh, it was way worse than Corona Zombies.
It was.
Damn.
It was.
I'm gonna have to watch it now.
Yeah,
you won't make
interested.
it. You won't.
I don't even feel like I think I could just take your word for it that I don't need to.
It earned a full star for the poster, and the thing that is on the poster is in the movie. And it has nothing to do with anything. It's like a CGI render of an alien that looks like a video game from like 1997.
Yeah.
Like it.
It happens twice. They do the exact same thing twice.
It hard cuts to the CGI alien and it just screams. It just goes, ah! And then hard cut back to the rest of the movie. And it is fucking unreal. Like, this guy worked on Alien and Total Recall.
Straight up put in a DOS game in this movie.
Oh, man. Alien Blood.
Fuck.
We do have one more segment.
All right,
Everybody's favorite. Everybody's favorite segment.
Questions that have played mankind.
Who am I? Where do I belong? Where is the path? Questions that have plagued mankind.
So, I got a couple today. Now, didn't go for 3.
I'm really excited.
Only
for
went
this
for the
one.
2-pointer. So, you take it or you leave it. So this one, first one comes to us from Drew and not anonymous. Both of them are anonymous. So, that's the first surprise. How do you get a potato out of the toilet? My son dropped a potato and it bounced into the toilet, and now I need to get it out before someone accidentally flushes it.
Hands down, be a man. Use your hand. Straight up.
I'm envisioning the only reason he asked this is because it's stuck and not because he's an idiot and doesn't realize you can just pull it out.
So I really hate to try to take this so literal and serious, but as a maintenance man, I've dealt with this more than one time, but with not a potato.
Oh,
it would better if it was a potato.
No. I do not mean like a vicious turd. Oh, I just almost. Jesus fucking Christ. Talk about a vicious turd. No, okay. A child dropped its bottle in the toilet once. I didn't know the gender. I'm not going to assume the gender of the child.
Whoa.
The baby flushed its bottle down the toilet and it got stuck. And I'm sure if you look under a toilet, the back of it after the toilet hole goes up and down like this before it goes into the ground. And they have a tool called an auger, a toilet auger. And it's this giant pole with a spinny thing. Kind of. But it's like super gnarly. It's like a giant pole with a snake that comes out of it. And we were trying to auger this poor plastic bottle through this, tunnel, and that was not possible. So we had to take the entire toilet out of the ground, put it on a dolly, wheel it out into the parking lot, and sit there and just beat it with the auger until it finally came out of the other side. I don't think that she has those types of tools. So I think her best bet is to reach in there with a knife and cut it as well as she can and then flush it.
Just imagine someone looking outside the door and seeing a man fucking beating up on a toilet.
Guys, my job is fucked. Okay, I cannot emphasize it any more than that. I have a fucked up job.
Luke is in the Florida project.
I still stand by the hand answer. I don't want to overshare, but one time in high school at Springerly's house, I took a dump that was so big it wouldn't flush, and I had to use my hand to pull it out of the toilet. And I put it in a restaurant to-go box, and I threw it in the...
What the
just
fuck? What the...
Just move. Just move. Don't do that.
Overshare here.
Firmly grasped it and put it in a to-go box.
Look, it was his mom's apartment. I didn't have a choice, okay?
So I took it and I tried putting it in the sink drain. At that point, you'd accept your fate and you go, dude, hey, I clogged your toilet. I'm pretty sure I would take embarrassment before I would take some bare hand. Oh, of course he did. He didn't have gloves on him. This was Oh, no. Oh, no.
A plastic bag.
Please tell me they found the bag.
Please continue.
No, it was a restaurant to-go box.
You straight dunked it in a to-go box?
Put it in a to-go box and threw it in the dumpster.
Oh, I'm thinking then, because didn't you tell it? There's some story about like some shit under somebody's bed.
Oh, yeah.
So many poop stories. It's ridiculous. Do you want me to tell that one? Because I will.
Yeah.
When I was living in my first apartment, me and my friends had an ongoing joke about poop in a bag. Well, at this time, me and my roommate, Nick Springerly, were it's my first apartment, so we're super broke, and we did a lot of our shopping at Dollar General, our grocery shopping.
Fuck yeah.
And one day, I'm in my room preparing to go to the bathroom to take a shower. So naturally, I'm in my underwear. The light is off in my room because we can't afford electricity. So I'm walking to the bathroom and my foot brushes a bag underneath my bed. And I pull it out, unsuspecting. I don't think anything of it. It's a Dollar General bag. So I think, oh, this is something I forgot from the store. I look in the bag and I just see something dark in the bottom of the bag, and still unsuspecting, I reached in the bag and I touched the item at the bottom of the bag, and it was moist.
Finger, everybody. This guy's got
it was
poop
moist.
finger.
Still, no, unsuspecting. I smelled my hand.
Why would you know?
That's so normal,
Obviously.
right? That's so normal.
Nothing weird.
Do you remember in The Goop or The Goo or whatever when that dude's like, what is this mysterious goo? The stuff. I'm sorry. Thank you. In the movie,
you better apologize, dude.
When you
gotta get this stuff correctly.
He finds it and he instantly goes, "What's this? I wonder."
Yeah.
He tastes it.
Basically what happened, but I smelled it.
What is
and
it?
I screamed, dude, I screamed bloody murder. I'm telling you, I screamed for a solid minute straight. Like, I'm sure our neighbors thought somebody got murdered. And it sat, by the way, this sat under my bed for 5 days before I found it.
Thank you to the Dollar General bags for being airtight, keeping it moist.
Before I'm even done screaming, my friend's already in the other room on the phone, like, he found it. He fucking touched it. He fucking smelled it.
Lovely.
So there's another poop story for you.
Anyway.
Next question.
Potato.
That's it. Next question. We're good.
The potato. No, yeah.
We answered that one.
Put it in a bag or a to-go box and call it a day.
Take the whole toilet.
Knife.
Take the whole toilet, bring it outssilde, and beat the shit out of it.
Whack the shit out of it.
Cut the potato up with a sharp knife and flush it, you silly goose.
Oh no, I know what you could do. You get the toilet, right? You know, it has that little cover thing it's like a compartment. You fill it with weed, you put it on the catapult, and you ship it over to someone who needs the weed.
There you go.
Like a weed, almost like a weed bazooka.
Yeah. That is it. We figured it out. There you go. That's what you do. That's how you get it out.
There's only one group of people having this exact discussion right now. You ever think about that? Like, nobody in China is having this discussion.
You don't know that.
About a potato lodged toilet.
You don't know that.
With weed and launch with a catapult. I know that.
Really?
I'm the god of this podcast.
What are you doing in hell?
Vacation.
Same.
I'm so mad I can't have the backgrounds. I wanted to play
Same.
with that so fucking badly, dude.
Next question.
All right. Next question comes to us from Negotiator, and then he says, or she, whoever, I'm gender neutral. Can you sue homeless people?
Huh.
Just are you walking past the dude and just had that random thought in your head? It's like, I could sue that.
I feel like the only way that you could sue a homeless person is if they've done something and become detained, because then their legal address is a jail. And that way that they're like forced to go to court. Because
but I think the way this man is thinking about it is I think the homeless man is just minding their own business. And the man was just like,
the homeless man works at McDonald's.
I have a
he's
feeling-
trying to sue McDonald's.
No, I have a
New
feeling
McDonald's?
like the way that I picture it, because I'm surrounded by a lot of homeless people out here. Honestly, is that maybe he's like being harassed by a homeless dude or something, or a homeless dude like
So his solution is to litigate, to sue the man.
A
That would
rich
be a criminal case.
fucker would be like, "I'm gonna sue you," and
That would
like
be
he's
a
like,
criminal
"Fine."
You
For
can't.
everything that you don't have.
I
Exactly.
see you have that 8 gigabyte iPod Touch from 2008. I want that.
Give that to me,
Yes.
and I will leave.
I think
Maddie,
you can
Maddie,
sue a
what were you
homeless
saying?
person.
I was gonna say, if they were harassing you and were arrested, that would be like a criminal case, as opposed to like you suing them would be like a civil case.
Civil, okay, yeah.
So
You're right.
I'm trying to think of like a scenario that wouldn't involve a criminal case as well, where you would sue a homeless person. And I'm thinking maybe like
Well, let's assume
think
somebody committed a crime and they're homeless. Like, how do you contact them with a lawyer, or how does that process work?
You just show up at their camp with a lawyer.
Find them.
Yeah, I'm
At
sure
their camp?
the criminal system would have to do something that's like, okay, you don't have anywhere to live, so like we obviously have to keep track of you, so no, sorry, you can't make bail or something like that. But if I had to come up with a scenario, I would think maybe like, I don't know, you're trying to get divorced and your husband runs away or something and becomes homeless for a few months, and you're like, we got to take this to court, homie. I don't know what to tell you.
But if you're married, there's probably some kind of joint property ownership.
Yeah. What about like a bag lady with a cart, and let's say she doesn't have a car or auto insurance and she hits someone's car with her cart?
Okay.
Or she defames you. She says a bunch of
that would be
shit.
That would be a criminal case, though, because that would be like, defacing your property or whatever.
Yeah, property
Allowed
damage.
to touch other people's properties. So.
I honestly just
I'm gonna sue your bags, lady.
The answer
Those bags. Those bags are getting litigated.
Hey, Josh, respond to the question. Just say, I don't know. Give it a shot.
See what happens. Crazy world. You got to do anything.
You gotta do.
What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose trying?
Yeah.
You might as well.
What does a homeless person have to lose?
Yeah, that's the real question. Like, what does the man have to lose, or woman, whoever?
They're part of the
They can
street.
get audited. They can get audited, dude. You imagine being homeless, having nothing, finally getting a job, and 90% of your paycheck is audited because you've been sued by some rich fuck.
Imagine working at fucking Little Caesars and having 3/4 your paycheck's gone.
And you have to give the $275 out of your $300 to the rich fuck. Dude, this is so stressful. Yes, you can.
In theory, if your parents were homeless and they gave birth to you, and like no one knew about it except for them, and then you grew up, couldn't you be audited if you're like
write this movie
totally unregistered human being? This is a real question. I'm really asking you this question. Could you be audited?
Can you be audited? I think you can be.
They wouldn't do it though. They wouldn't expend that manpower on doing it.
No, but like in theory, is that a thing? Or like
in theory,
like what would happen?
Yes, you are an illegal immigrant. You do not have a social security number. Yes, this does happen. This is you are 100% correct. People don't necessarily get audited. Like that's not the process they go about it. But in theory, yeah, that's totally possible, which is fucked up, but that's real.
Triplefour Podcast, #1 legal advice podcast.
I get your free legal advice here, ladies and gentlemen.
Come and hear you from a criminal. Come get your legal advice from a criminal.
Hey, if you're a lawyer head, put in the comments if you can sue a homeless person.
I think you can. All right.
Next question.
Josh? What do you got, Josh?
That's it. It's a 2-pointer. Like I said,
I
didn't
I
shoot
got
for
one.
3 this time.
I have one.
Give me one. This is the only time I can contribute, I feel like.
It's not from the internet. This is something that I was thinking about. It's not that crazy, but it's kind of a good panel discussion.
I got one too. It's quick though. After you're done.
So when you're like scrolling through Tinder, or if you met somebody who has the same name as your sister or your mother, or alternatively, Maddie, your brother or your father or sister or mother. However,
This is a good one. I know where he's going with this.
Are you comfortable with that? Is that weird? Because I feel like it's weird. If I see somebody with my sister or mother's name, I'm out. I just not an option.
I do not have a sister, and my mother's name is decently unique. It's not super unique, but it's just not that common anymore. Her name is Bridget.
Yeah.
So if I met a girl named Bridget,
and she's your dream. She's a goth girl. She's down with Requiem for a Dream.
She's my dream. If she's sitting here trying to pop out Apex Twins song titled Babies with me while I build spaceships, then yes, I'm definitely going to fuck with Bridget. I was going to call her Big B. But
Bridge.
Bridge. There you go.
I hate that. It's my mom. It's my mom.
It's my mom you're talking about.
It's my fucking mom. No, I don't know. It depends. Okay, see, it depends on how much you care about the person. You say she's your dream. Oh, I'm still in. If we're just talking, no, I'm out big time. I don't have a sister either, so I feel like that's the same thing with your sister probably.
I'm kind of in the same boat. It would really depend. I don't really meet many people named Elijah. But
is that your brother or father? Or do you have a brother?
Yeah, my brother. I usually would go no. If I see someone with the name Eli, I'm usually out. So it would have to be like an exception case for you're the most beautiful human being on this planet. And then as far as my mom goes, no one really is named Deanna anymore. That's not a thing that happens. And Robert.
I know somebody named Diana.
Yeah, I know Diana.
She's a princess.
And then as far as Robert goes, I also don't meet a lot of Roberts anyway. So, but on that, my Aunt Sarah has a sister named Sam, and her wife's name is Sam as well, which was always an interesting distinction. Usually, for me growing up, we referred to Sarah's sister as Sister Sam, and then my aunt as Auntie Sam. So I don't know if that was ever weird for Sarah doing that. I don't really know how that went for her, but
I'd probably be in the same way as you, though. If it's a really special case. But other than that, probably just no.
So we're all not really, I don't know about Nick.
We're not vibing it.
I don't give a fuck. I am all in.
Trying to smash the
weed. All right, Nick.
Searching out for his sibling.
Level 2.
Cashing out.
This dude's trying to smash the weed cannon.
All right, Nick, what's your mom's name?
Weed cannon, weed bazooka.
This is because I actually saw someone this week. My mom's name is Marilyn, and I did see on Facebook this past week a really, really hot Marilyn.
She texts you right now. She's like, "I'm good to go."
That's cool. I'm on my way with the vibe machine. What's up?
Yeah.
She says, "I'm good to go." And then part 2, there's a clause. There's a contractual clause. I'm into dirty talk. You got to say my name when we're in it.
No.
Oh, dude. No.
You like that?
Vibe machine is on, but not emitting great.
not greatly emitting.
Not so much on the.
Also, what a scenario! What a scenario!
What
I'm good to go.
scenario.
This is my kink.
It has to be easier with your parent because I don't
easier.
What?
Whoa!
We know what Maddie's been doing.
Maddie's dad Maddie told me her dad used to sing "I'm on Fire" by Bruce Springsteen to her, and it's a song that is literally about being super horny.
Yeah, so
she's just vibing to it.
I feel like it's easier with someone who's parent's name because I don't call my mom Deanna. I don't call my dad Robert. I just refer to them as mom and dad, so that's how it is in my head. Whereas like
See,
my brother,
agree.
I refer to him as Eli. So if I was with someone named Eli and I had to say their name, I would feel very uncomfortable.
I definitely agree with that, and that's kind of why earlier I brought up the fact that my mother has kind of a more rare name nowadays.
That's also true. And I don't ever call my mom by her name. So
a lot of people don't.
Yeah, but you file it away in your head. You make that connection.
It's very true.
Yeah. I mean, I say
It would be,
I don't
it
say
would
my
be
sister's
easier
name.
to like put in the back of my head than it would be
Maybe.
with my brother.
Maybe. I'm trying to date a chick named Mike.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Tell me that works out.
I like that. That's cool.
Chick named Mike.
But that's my dad's name too. So actually, it's not technically his name. It's just what he goes by.
What's his name? Michael?
His name is Merschel.
Michael.
All right.
That's bizarre.
All right.
Okay, my dad's
Dan.
name
It
is
is.
Michael, though.
Dan,
Michael.
you're gay and on Grindr, and you find a guy named Michael.
Named Michael.
Mike.
Which is not my dad's name.
Michael.
What?
If you find a man named Michael,
Okay, I've got
If I
a
find
way
Michael,
better
dude,
question.
it's
Oh, yeah, you're
on.
done. You're done.
I've
Ian
got-
Michael, dude. It's gonna be like that show Hollywood on Netflix, dude. It's gonna be fucking
I've got a way
crazy.
better question. I don't know. Okay, I gotta think.
All right,
Here's
thanks
a good-
for watching the Triplefour podcast.
I got to meet up with Paul soon. Cool guy, as we all know now.
Oh, Paul's coming back. Did you get a phone call?
Didn't do anything weird. Nothing
Free
weird.
Paul Reubens.
No, he's supposed to meet me here at the set. So.
Well,
Okay.
Please
well, real
help
quick.
me. Please help me.
Oh no.
is that Paul? All righty.
How much faster
Okay.
do you think? How much faster do you think lightning would travel if it didn't take the time to zigzag?
So you guys can stew on that one and come back
Think about
next week.
Next week.
Think about it. Think about it.
Answer, maybe. Who knows?
Bye.